Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well on this Friday night. Somehow my little stand here got messed up, so I'm trying to fix this and get it in the right position for this particular ball game here in the Demolition League. So I need to bring that over just a hair and raise it up just a hair. And see if we can get that all figured out. All right, I think that pretty much covers it right there. I think that's going to put it in the best possible position for us to move on forward here in the Demolition League. We're at game number 50. Hello, Ben. Good to see you. Game number 50 out of 270. It's going to be the Cubs and the Royals. These are the last two teams that have not played 10 games each. They've each played 9 games. The only thing I forgot to do is write in their win-loss record, so I go to the Strat box score. And that'll tell me the Cubs are 3-6 entering this game. Royals are 6-3. So now the leading team in the league is Minnesota at 8-2. The Dodgers, who lost the game last night to Pittsburgh, fell to 7-3. So Kansas City could get into a second-place tie with the Dodgers with the win. But the Cubs, of course, need to win to kind of get out of the hole they're in. And the Cubs will send Jameson Taillon on the mound, 12-8 and a 3.27 ERA in the real season against Brady Singer of the Royals, who was 9-13 with a 3.71 earned run average. Hello, Blaine. Good to see you. All right, so you see the lineups we got there. Pretty standard. Injury checks for Jameson Taillon is 6-12. We will check injury for Jameson Taillon whenever we roll to 6-12. We'll do his injury check. Brady Singer cannot be injured. He had 32 starts, so he is past the point of being injured. The pitcher-catcher hold, Singer is a -3 combined. He's actually a -1, but Salvador Perez is a -2 for a net -3. Taillon is a 0 hold, but Amaya is a +1, so he has a +1 on his pitcher-catcher hold. So got the game on the computer, and we'll get this thing going. Brady Singer finishing up the warm-up tosses. Singer is 1-1 in his 2 starts. 1 win, 1 loss, and ERA of 13.50. Not very good, obviously. 8 innings pitched in those 2 starts, so he didn't last long in one of them anyway. Gave up 17 hits in those 8 innings, 5 walks and 10 strikeouts. And Ian Happ will lead off for the Cubbies. Ian Happ is hitting .241 on the replay in 29 at-bats, a homer and 3 driven in. Again, all the stats, take them with a grain of salt because you're only 9 or 10 games in, so, and you're not playing real scheduled. I mean, you're playing different. They're facing different pitchers than what they faced in the real season. So stats are, take them or leave them, I guess. It's a 3-7 for Happ, and he's going to strike out. Brady Singer gets the strikeout to start the ball game. It's not quite like the 87 replay where everything is more exact. It's as played and everything's, filtered down a little bit more closely. A lot of leeway in this kind of a demolition league. All right, here's PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong. He's hitting 400. He's 4 for 10. No homers and a run driven in. 2-4, and that's going to be a line out to third base. Mikel Garcia will make the catch, 2 down. And that's going to bring up Cody Bellinger. And as I said before, I like how the Strat-O-Matic changed their blue background to the charcoal gray. It's much easier to see, in my opinion, than that blue. So I don't play basic, obviously. I mean, I like the cleanness of it. I just don't, there's just not a complete game for me to use the basic. But if you want to play basic, you go right ahead and do what you want to do. It's just not my cup of tea. All right, here's Cody Bellinger, first baseman. He's hitting .206, a homer and 5 driven in. 3-6 for Bellinger, 1 for a double, anything else to be a single. So Bellinger, a 2-out single. And let's see, will he try to get a lead? Brady Singer is a -3. He's still going to try to get the lead. Needs a 5 to get the lead. Doesn't get it, doesn't matter. So to bring up Seiya Suzuki, cleanup hitter. Suzuki hitting .333, 10 out of 3. or 10 out of 30 rather. Homer and 3 driven in. That's a 3. Actually, he's 11 out. No, he's 10 out of 30. My bad. 3-6 for Suzuki. 1 to 7 is a single. That's an 11. He will ground it to first. To first base C, so that means that Pasquantino will flip it to Singer covering. And that will take care of the Cubbies here in the first. So nothing doing for the Cubbies. They get a single, but nothing else. Go to the bottom of the first. Cubs nothing. Royals coming to bat. And Jameson Taillon, who was 12-8 with a 3.27 ERA in the real season. In the replay, he is 0-1 with a 3.86 ERA, 12 innings pitched, 12 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And we do have Maikel Garcia leading things off for the Royals. Maikel Garcia hitting 289 on the replay, a homer and 4 driven in. 3-6, and he's going to fly it to right field, where Suzuki will haul it in. 1 down. And that'll bring up Michael Massey. Of course, tomorrow at noon, we will have the 1987 National League game for May the 30th. The Giants hosting the Expos. That's Mike Krukow against Floyd Yeomans. That game was played May the 30th, 1987. Here's Massey. 6-7 for Massey is a ground ball second base X. That's going to bring it up to Madrigal. He's a 3-E2. They're giving Nico Horner the day off. So he's a 3-E2 for Madrigal. 3-11, he'll get to it. The E2, I don't think will be a problem. That is an 11 for an E2 at a second baseman. Only 3 and 18 are error chances. And a 11 with a 3 is a G2. So nobody on base, so it's easy play. Turned in, 4-3. 2 quick outs. Oh, thank you, Ben. I actually had fun doing it. I wanted to do it because because of my anniversary being on Monday, and the wife was home Monday and Tuesday, so we had a nice 4-day weekend together. So I didn't play Monday and Tuesday, so I figured a good time to catch up and get all those games done before Friday, before the end of the week, was to do a doubleheader. Of course, next week we'll be doing a straight-out doubleheader because on the May 30th, Detroit and Minnesota were rained out, so they're playing a real doubleheader that I'll be playing next week from Detroit. Actual doubleheader. I fill in both sides of the score sheet with the lineups, and when the first game's over, just flip it on over and ready to roll. All right, here's Bobby Witt Jr. He is hitting .457 on the replay and 35 at bats, a homer and 8 driven in. That's a 110, and that's a ballpark blast, and it's only a 1-7, but that is a 7. So how about that? Bobby Witt goes deep for his second home run of the replay, 9th run batted in. On the real season, he had 32 homers and 109 driven in. So Bobby Witt goes deep. Makes it 1-0 Kansas City. Again, his second home run of the replay. Look at it one more time. 110. It is a ballpark blast. It's 1-7, and the D20 was a 7, right on the number. So a 2-out home run from Mr. Bobby Witt took care of that. It was just interesting that the doubleheader, both games ended 4-0 with both games getting complete game shutouts from the home pitcher. I mean, the symmetry there was kind of interesting. All right, here is the, I don't know if you want to call him a folk hero of the league or not, Vinny Pasquantino. He's kind of got a cult following maybe. I don't know. Vinny Pasquantino. And Pasquantino on the replay is hitting .250, 7 out of 28, a homer and 5 driven in. It's a 5-6, and he will ground it to second. So again, Madrigal makes the play, but Kansas City takes a 1-0 lead after 1. Turns that over to Brady Singer. And Talkman, the designated hitter, will be up. Don't know. It may show up on the video stream. I don't know, but there's a whiteout here, not a whiteout, but a correction tape here. I had Bush as the DH, but he had to rest, so we're going to replace him with Michael Talkman as the DH. Talkman on the replay is hitting only 111, 3 out of 27, no homers, 2 driven in. It's 411, and that is a ballpark blast. It's a 1-4, and that's an 18, so he will just hit a deep fly to right field, and there's one away. One down. Nobody from Kansas City was required to rest, so they're all 100%. But Bush for Cubs, should have wrote it down here. Bush for the Cubs does have to rest in this one. Here's Dansby Swanson. He's really struggling. He 107. No homers and a run batted in. 3-7 for Swanson. He's still struggling. He grounds it to short where Witt makes the play. 2 down. 2 up and 2 down, and that's going to send it to Chris Morel, third baseman. Morel hitting .217 and 23 at-bats, 2 homers and 4 driven in. 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Brady Singer, his second of the ball game. And the Cubbies will go away quietly. And as somebody once said, they can go away quietly or go away loudly, but the main thing is just go away. All right, so Jameson Taillon back out. He'll be facing Salvi Perez, Hunter Renfroe, and MJ Melendez. So Perez hitting .290 on the replay, a homer and 5 driven in. 6-3, that's a fly ball right field X. We are looking at Suzuki of 4E7 for Suzuki. 4 and 8. See if he can get to that. 4 and 8. He does not. It's going to be base hit. That is a 15. It could be an error on top of this. Suzuki's a 7. There is a 15. It's going to be a single plus a 2-base error on Suzuki. How about that? That's a 15 on an E7. A 15 is a 2-base error. So it's a single, and Suzuki plays it into a triple, but the official score is going to be realistic and call it a single plus an E9. It's going to move Perez all the way to third base. So runner at third, nobody out for Hunter Renfroe. Hello, Dan. Good to see you. Hunter Renfroe. Infield will play in. They're already down 1-0. They don't want to give up another cheap run. Renfroe is hitting .300. 2 homers and 2 runs batted in on the replay. On the real world, he hit .229, but he's only had 30 at bats. So, again, take the stats with a grain of salt. Infield is in. 1-7, he will strike out, so it didn't matter where the infield was on that one. Taillon gets a big strikeout, 1 away. That's going to bring up left fielder MJ Melendez. He's hitting .200 on the replay, 7 out of 35, 3 homers and 6 driven in. So interesting that almost half of his hits are home runs. 3-5, and that's a ballpark blast. It's a 1-4. And the double die is a 1. What do you know? Melendez has done it again. His 4th home run on his 8th hit. So that's half his hits are now home runs. Look at it again. 3-5. Ballpark blast. 1-4. And that's a 1. So Melendez. So both these runs are going to be earned because that E9 had no effect with him getting on first base. He would have scored on the home run from first base either way. But 4th home run for Melendez on the replay. And it's 3-0 Royals, as they are treating Jameson Taillon rather rudely. Here's Nelson Velasquez. He is the designated hitter. He had limited duties, only had 6 at-bats. He's hitting .167 in those 6 at-bats. No homers or runs batted in. 2-4, and that's a 1-19 home run, and that's gone. He did it again. Back-to-back jacks. 2 and a 4. It's going to be a 1-19 home run, and that is a home run, his first of the season, obviously. First hit of the game, or his season. He's now 1 for 7. He's now actually 2 for 7, so he's hitting .286. But he gets his first home run to make it a 4-0 ball game. And here comes Kyle Isbell, the center fielder. Isbell hitting .227, a homer and 4 driven in. 4-2, and that's a split chance. 1-18 is a single, so that's another base hit. And Taillon getting treated rather rudely here. Taillon's a +1 hold, so Isbell's going to try for the lead. Needs a 4 or a 5 to get it. And he gets it, so he's going to go. 19 being held to 17, +1's an 18. 1 to 18. The T rating on Amaya is only a 3, so there's not much of a risk to throw through. And it's a stolen base for Isbell. So he's in scoring position. Still nobody out. And top of the order, Michael Garcia steps to the plate. It's 1-6, and that's a 1 to 10 home run, and that's gone. Michael Garcia just goes deep. Look at this. 1 to 10 is a home run. The Devil dies, strikes again. It's a 2. It's a 2-run home run for Michael Garcia. And Jameson Taillon has given up 3 home runs in this inning. Second home run of the season for Garcia. And the bullpen for the Cubs is starting to work in. Hey, Frank, good to see you. They are starting to work in a rushed matter now because might be getting time to get serious. So, left-hander Drew Smiley is in the bullpen loosening for the Cubs, and he would be coming in. But he needs to get ready first. He'll come in to face Pasquantino, most likely. Here's Massey. 2-8 for Massey, and that's a home run chance. 1 to 13, but that's a 16. So we almost had back-to-back, 4 home runs in 5 at-bats kind of thing. But the home run failed this time. It's just the 16 is just going to be a double. It'll only be a double for Massey. And that'll bring up Bobby Witt, who homered his first time up. And this is going to be the last batter Taillon gets to face. They can't go any further with him. Smiley's just about ready. 3-7, and that's a fly to center. That's 2 down. And now with Vinny Pasquantino coming up, that will do it for Taillon. He is going to leave the ball game. Taillon's going to go 1 2/3 innings. And he obviously didn't have it tonight. He's going to give up 7 hits, 6 runs. They were all earned. And let's see, did he walk? He didn't walk anybody. He struck out 1. But Drew Smiley is in now. He's a 0 hold, so that makes him a +1. So left-hander Drew Smiley on the season, he was 4-8, 3.84 ERA and no saves. He'll be on to face Pasquantino with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. We'll get the numbers on Smiley. Cubs hate to go to the bullpen this early, but I don't think they really had a choice the way this thing was going. Probably went too far with him as it was. But Smiley on the replay is 0-1 with an ERA of 18. He's pitched 2 innings, given up 4 runs and 4 hits, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. So we got Massey at second, 2 outs, and here's Pasquantino. Lefty on lefty matchup. 3-5, and that is a fly ball to right field to end the inning. So the Royals send 9 to the plate, and 5 of them score, making it 6-0 after 2 completed innings of play. And Brady Singer has been given a huge lead to work with. Top of the third. Miguel Amaya has not hit yet. Neither is Madrigal. And everybody on the Royals basically has hit twice. Most everybody's hit twice. So Amaya on the replay is hitting .333, 6 out of 18. But 4 of those 6 hits were home runs. He's got 4 home runs and 6 runs batted in. 2-3, and that's a ground ball to Witt at short. 1 away. And that brings up the number 9 hitter, Nick Madrigal. He is 2 for 8 on the season, a .250 average, no homers or runs driven in. 3-2 for Madrigal, and that's a split chance. 1 to 18 is a single. That is an 18, so it fits barely. But it's a single for Madrigal. He will not be held, will not go anywhere. And go back to the top of the order for Ian Happ. So Happ steps to the plate. 111, and that's a ground ball second base C. That'll get the runner to second base. Madrigal will take second, but now there's 2 away. So it's going to be up to PCA to get the base hit to score the run. In a clutch situation, PCA will gain a hit on 3-9. That's a 2, chance for balk or pass ball. His balk rating is a 0. Pass ball rating on Perez is a 0, so it doesn't matter which way he goes, they're not going to have it. So there's no need to roll for it because you can't have it. That's a 5-6, and that's going to be a strikeout for Singer to end the inning. So 6-0 lead is still intact for Kansas City. As we go to the bottom of the third, and Smiley will be facing Salvi Perez, Renfroe, and Melendez. 6-9, and that's going to be a split chance. 1-2 is a single. That's a 14. So that will be a line out to short. And also need to check Smiley to make sure he didn't get, anytime you roll a 6 and a high number to go with it, I kind of check for to make sure there's no chance of a pitcher injury. Smiley, according to the roster sheet. Why don't I see Smiley on the roster sheet? Oh, there he is. He's a 3. So according to the roster sheet, Smiley is a 3. So a 1 would be a 6-12, a 2 would be a 6-11, so a 3 is a 6-10. So he misses the injury chance, which was a 6-9 here. 6-10, we'll check for injury. 6-9 will play it out as normal, and it was a line out to short, so 1 away. But he avoids the injury. But if you roll a 6-10, we'll check for an injury. Here's Hunter Renfroe. And then as soon as I say it, we roll a 6-10. Go figure. Ballpark single check, 1-19. So I think that's pretty obvious it's going to be a single. But now we're going to check Smiley for injury. He may have to come out. Not only that, he may have to miss some time. So we'll see what happens here on the injury chance for Drew Smiley. We'll roll the D20 for the pitcher injury. 1-6, he'll be okay. 7 or higher, he's going to miss some time. That's a 19. That's a 30, but the max, we cut everything in by a third because we're playing 1/3 of a season, so it's actually 10 games. So Drew Smiley is going to go on the injured list for 10 games. So the Cubs will have to go to their bullpen. Or not to their bullpen, but to their minor leagues. So I've got the minor leagues right here. Can't bring them in now, but I'll figure out who it's going to be going forward here. What pitcher do they want to bring up? They're going to need a lefty reliever. So let's look in their bullpen for lefty relievers, if they have any. I don't think they have any, actually. They don't have any lefty relievers, so they're in bad shape. So they're going to have to go to a righty reliever. I was trying to make sure each team had 2 lefty relievers, but Cubs are going to be without a lefty reliever. So I've got to figure out who in the world would make sense to bring in. And we could be looking at, we'll look at Porter Hodge. So Porter Hodge will be taking the roster spot of Drew Smiley, as Smiley will now go to the minor leagues for 10 games. So he will not be eligible to come back until the Cubs play their 20th game, which will be a while, obviously. Porter Hodge is not available in this game, but I'm going to put him on the roster so I know he's there. And now we need a new pitcher for the Cubbies, and it's going to be Keegan Thompson. He will get as much time as he needs to warm up due to the injury. So Keegan Thompson will be coming on. And we'll get the numbers on Thompson. Thompson on the replay is 0-0 with no saves and a 1.42 earned run average. He had a 2.67 ERA in real season. He did have, 2 saves. 6 innings pitched so far, 5 hits, no walks and 5 strikeouts. So Keegan Thompson will be on to face Melendez. And we'll get the numbers on Smiley real quickly. He went 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, nothing else. He did get a strikeout. This run is his responsibility if it scores, so we can't close the book on him yet. So MJ Melendez is your batter against Keegan Thompson. 3-7 against the righty, and that's a 1-8 double. That's an 11, so it's a fly to center. 2 down. And that'll take us to Velasquez, the designated hitter. Actually, he did not get a strike. I got a fly out. What's the last out that he made? Okay. So 1-9 for Velasquez, and he's going to strike out. So I want to make sure I got it right. So Keegan Thompson comes in, gets the 2 outs he needs, and he's good for another inning at least, possibly 2 more innings. We go to the 4th. It's still 6-0. Brady Singer will be facing Bellinger, Suzuki, and Talkman. You're in the top of the 4th, but he's got a nice 6-0 lead to work with. 1-3 for Bellinger is a ballpark single check. It's 1-16. That's a base hit for Bellinger. He is 2 for 2. Down 6-0. He is not going to try to steal. They will hold him on, but he will not try to go anywhere down 6-0. That's a 1 chance of a wild pitch, which is a 2. No wild pitch. Here's Suzuki. 6-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Chance for a double play. Witt is a 1E16. 1-18. That's a G1, so it will be a double play opportunity. Just checking for the error. That is a 12, and he is an E16. E16, there's no 12, so it will be a 6-4-3 double play, tailor-made double play. Sponsored by Joe's Tailor Shop. Sponsoring the tailor-made double play of the game. Just don't ask me who Joe is. All right, here's Michael Talkman. 2-8, and that's a 1-3 home run, but that's a 9, so he's going to fly it to right, and that's going to end the inning. That's good. I like that. I like that. I might have to use that or something close to it. Stitch in time, saves 9, as they say. Of course, now I've got that vision of, and I know they were silly and possibly not showing much of my intelligence, but not that I have a whole lot of intelligence to begin with, but especially growing up, I was a big fan of Three Stooges, and I remember when they had I think it was Shemp in there instead of Curly, though, where they ran a tailor shop, and some thug came in there and they had to deal with him, and they put a hot iron on him and everything else. And when I think of a tailor, that's the first thing that popped in my mind for whatever reason. I have weird thoughts going on mine. Hello, midlife. Here's Kyle Isbell. It's 1-4, and that's a fly to right field, 1 away. I know I watched Get Smart and Three Stooges growing up. I mean, not exactly the most scholarly things to be watching, but they were good entertainment. It's Garcia, 4-11. That's a fly ball left field X. We are looking at Happ. He's a 2E1. 2-9, he'll get to it. E1, the only error on an E1 for a left fielder is a 3 or a 17. That is a 16. Boy, he just missed making an error there, but he does make the play. 2 down for Michael Massey. It's a 1-9, and he's going to pop it up to first. And right there for it is Bellinger to end the inning. So Keegan Thompson bringing a little stability to the Cubs pitching. And we go to the 5th, still 6-0 in favor of the Kansas City Royals. Brady Singer, this will be his fatigue inning, number 5. He'll be facing Swanson, Morel, and Amaya. Yeah, I like the one about the bill. I like the one about where the bill went up and tried to become a law. That was the one I always liked. I'm just a bill. I'm not going to sing, but you know the one I'm talking about if you've seen that show. Here's Swanson, 111, and that's a ballpark single, 1-19, and that's a base hit for Swanson. Swanson, again, could try to get the lead, but they're down 6-0, so they're not going to take any chances. He will be held, won't go anywhere. And here is Christopher Morel, 6'9" for Singer. Again, he's a 0, cannot be injured. That's a 1-5 triple. That's a 3, so Christopher Morel, he had 1 triple on the season, so we'll allow it. Triple for Christopher Morel, and that will get the Cubbies on the board. RBI triple from Morel cuts the lead to 6-1. And that'll bring up the catcher, Amaya. Infield is, well, that's a 1, so it could be a wild pitch on a 2, but it's not. Infield is back with nobody out. They need outs. 1-4, and that's a ballpark single check, but that's a 16, but that's a 19, so it will be a single for Amaya. And 2 runs are in now for the Cubbies. They've cut the lead to 6-2. So the Royals can't be too complacent because next thing you know, the Cubs will be back in the game. And Singer now is right at his fatigue level. So, but he's got to get through 5 innings to get the win. So he's going to leave him in there. It's Madrigal. 3-7 for Madrigal. 1-8's a single. 9-20 lines to short. So that's a line out to Witt for out number 1. 1 down for Ian Happ. Happ is 0 for 2. 2-10. Ballpark single check. And again, Kauffman Stadium's giving up those singles left and right. And Amaya will take second base. First and second for PCA. And the Royal bullpen is loosening. They want to try to give Singer a leash here, but they may not be able to afford it. So bullpen activity. They do have left-handed action in the bullpen. Angel Zerpa is loosening in their bullpen, left-hander. Angel Zerpa. And they may bring him in to face Bellinger if Singer can't get out of this. For 8, and that's a single 2 stars, and that's going to be it for Singer. He's not going to be able to qualify for the win. It's now a 6-3 game, and they're still only 1 away. That's a single 2 stars, so going to third is Happ. But that's going to be it for Singer. Oops, I didn't only put it as a 1 star. Let me do it as a 2 star on the computer. Good thing for the undo button. Saves a lot of ills. All right, and now they're going to the bullpen for Angel Zerpa. Left-hander. So we'll fill in the numbers on Singer after the inning is over. In the meantime, lefty Angel Zerpa will be coming on to face a left-hander Bellinger with 1 out and runners on the corners. Zerpa 2-0 with a 3.86 ERA and no saves in the real season in 54 innings of pitching. On the replay, Zerpa is 1-1 with an ERA of 0. 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, no walks, and a strikeout. And he's going to be facing PCA. Zerpa is a -1 on his hold, which makes him a -3, same as Singer. But runners on the corners. Actually, it's Bellinger coming up, I should say. Now, PCA could try to get the lead to get a steal. 2 through 5, an 11 or a 12 to get the good lead. And that's a 7. He does not get the good lead, so he will hold for Bellinger. Infield back for the double play to try to get out of the inning. 310, lefty on lefty, is a strikeout. So Zerpa comes in and gets a big strikeout as he puts the K on Bellinger for out number 2. Now a clutch situation for Seiya Suzuki, but he loses hits on 1-6 and 1-7 in the clutch. See if Zerpa can get out of it. 310. He walks Suzuki to load the bases, but it's going to bring up Michael Tauchman. Michael Tauchman is up, a left-hander against the lefty Zerpa. I don't usually say that I can pinch hit until the 7th inning, but when pitching changes are done, that kind of overrides it because now you got a lefty in there that would not normally be in there against a left-hander. So we could be going to a pinch hitter here. Let's see, Tauchman hit 248. Do they have anybody any better? Not really, except for Horner. But they don't want to put him at the DH because you DH him and then you take him. Then you can't make him can't bring him in to substitute at second base or somewhat. Garrett Cooper is a possibility, but he's a horrible hitter. So you know what? We're going to keep Tauchman in the game. He faced lefties 21% of the time, so we'll say this is one of those 21%. We're doing 1/3, so he has to face lefties 7% of the time. So this is one of the 7%, I guess we'll call it. All right, so here is Tauchman against Zerpa. Lefty on lefty matchup, 4-7, and he struck him out. So Zerpa comes in and does the job. 3 runs come in for the Cubs, but it could have been a lot worse as Zerpa gets out of it. And now Singer, however, was unable to hold a 6-0 lead and go 5 innings, so he does not qualify for the win. He gets a no decision. So we'll go to the box score and get the actual final numbers on Singer. He looked like he was going to get the win very easily, but then fell apart here in the 5th inning. So Singer went 4 1/3, gave up 8 hits, 3 runs they were earned, no walks and 3 strikeouts. I forgot to put in Thompson as the pitcher for Cubbies. He's a -1, so he's a 0. All right, so Thompson back out for his 2nd inning of work. He's already pitched an inning and 2/3, so he's going for 2 2/3. And that'll bring up Bobby Witt. And hello, Robert, RJL. Good to see you. Thompson, 6-6 against Witt is going to be a base on balls. So Bobby Witt draws the walk to start the inning. Thompson a 0 hold. Bobby Witt needs a 2 through 6 to get the lead. Does not get it. He will hold. And here's Vinny Pasquantino. 5-3, and that's an in-home run chance on a 1. Anything else will be a double. That'll be a double to center field. Now, they were holding Witt, which makes him a 16. PCA's -2 arm makes it a 14. Pasquantino cannot take third on the overthrow because he runs at a 9. So it's a 1-14, but with nobody out, I just don't see the reason to risk it. If there's 1 out, I'd probably do it, but not with nobody out. So walk and a double, and all of a sudden now infield is in for the Cubbies. And here's Salvi Perez. .27, and that's a single 2 stars. That'll score both runs. And Thompson may be needing relief as well, as he may be fatiguing. It is now 8-3 ball game. Bullpen activity for the Cubbies. But right now they're going to go with Thompson for another batter against Renfroe. 310 for Renfroe. That's a 1-7 double. 8-20 is a single. That's going to be a double 2 stars. And that'll move runners to 2nd and 3rd with still nobody out. And now Melendez is up the lefty, and that's going to be it for Mr. Thompson. He will exit, and the Cubbies will go to their other lefty out of the bullpen. That being left-hander Luke Little. He will come on and face the lefty Melendez. Remember, Smiley, the other lefty, got hurt. He's going to be out 10 games. So Little will now be the only lefty in their bullpen. He's 3-1 with a 3.46 ERA in the real season. He had one start as a opener. So we'll go to the bullpen to get Mr. Little. No relation to Dave Little, I assume. Where are you? Why is he not on the computer? How do I not have Little on the computer? How does that not happen? Did something happen to him that I don't know about? All right, I'm going to have to go with somebody else here. So 86, that result. They're going to go with, instead, they're going to go with Miller. It's going to be Miller time. Not Little time, but Miller time. Miller time for the Cubbies. Miller will be coming on. So we'll get Miller out of the bullpen. Tyson Miller is 5-1 with a 2.15 ERA and one save in the real season. And he'll be facing Melendez with runners at second and third and nobody out. Let's see, Smiley ended up giving up no runs. Can't close the book on Thompson, though. Thompson went 2/3 here, inning and 2/3. And he's given up. He got one strikeout, one walk. He's given up 3 hits, and so far 2 runs. But both of these runs are his responsibility. So it is Melendez against Tyson Miller. Miller on the replay is 1-0 with no saves and ERA of 0. He's pitched 4 innings, hasn't given up anything, but no hits, but did walk 1, strikeout 1. Infield is in, obviously. That's a 1, but he has a 0 wild pitch rating. That's a 110, and that's a ballpark single check. It's 1-16, but that's a 17. So that's going to be a line up. That's going to be a line out to second base for 1 away. Hello, Digi Dugout. Good to see you. See, Melendez just lined out for the first out. Here's Nelson Velasquez. Infield still in. 4-8, and that's a ground ball third base A, so that's going to freeze everybody at their base. A B, they would have been out at the plate, but an A, they just hold. So everybody holds right where they are. And Miller 1 out away from pitching out of the jam. And here's Kyle Isbell in a clutch situation. In the clutch for Isbell, he gains a hit on 3-9. Everything else he's neutral on. But Miller trying to get out of the mess. 3-12, and he does. It's a ground ball to second to end the inning. So we can cap Thompson with the 2 runs. And that's going to be it for him. So Miller will come back out and pitch the 6th inning as well. But right now it is an 8-3 ball game. And Angel Zerpa, who faced 3 batters. He walked 1, struck out 2. So he's coming back out for another inning of relief. And it'll be Dansby Swanson, the batter. 4-11, and that's going to be a ballpark home run, ballpark blast for Dansby Swanson. It's a 1-7. That's an 18. So just a fly to left, and Swanson makes a loud out. 1 away. Again, don't forget tomorrow at noon, the 1987 National League game of the day from May the 30th will be the Expos and the Giants from Candlestick Park. Floyd Yeomans against Mike Krukow. There's Morrell. That's going to be roughly around noon tomorrow. 4-10 against Zerpa is a ballpark single check. It's 1-19, so that is going to be a base hit. As Kauffman Stadium has given up a lot of singles in this game. Here's Miguel Amaya. 6-6, and that's a walk by Zerpa. Puts runners at first and second with 1 out for Nick Madrigal, second baseman. 2-5 against the lefty. He is hit by the pitch, so he gets plunked, and that's going to load the bases. And now the bullpen for the Royals starting to stir, as Zerpa may be running into a little bit of a snafu here. Here is Ian Happ, a switch hitter. Bases loaded, 1 out. Infield looking for the double play. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or a pass ball. But that can't happen. He's got a 0 balk, and Perez has a 0 pass ball, so that's not a problem. We had a 6-11. You have to check for an injury on Zerpa with a 6-11, but we'll resolve the play first. Switch hitter batting right-handed. 6-11 is a 1-7 single. That's a 5. That's a base hit. It's going to score a run and keep the bases loaded. And Zerpa may have to come out due to injury. We'll have to wait and see. They might pull him anyway just for ineffectiveness. But it's going to cut the lead to 8-4, and the tying run will be at the plate in the form of PCA. But first we have to check for an injury on Zerpa, possibly. 6-11 for Kansas City. Zerpa. Kansas City Zerpa is a 6-12. He's a 1 there. It means 6-12. So 6-11 is not going to be an injury check. So no worries there for injury. But he's going to face PCA right here. Bases loaded and still only 1 out. Back for the double play. 1-10. That's a foul out to first base, so it's a huge out to get as he gets PCA to foul it out to Pasquantino. 2 down, and now we got to clutch it back coming up for Cody Bellinger. Bases loaded in the clutch for Bellinger against lefties. He gains a hit on 2-11. Everywhere else he is neutral. Zerpa to Bellinger. That's a 4-12, and that's a split chance. 1-2 is a single. That'll be a line out to second. And that will end the inning, and that will finish Zerpa. Zerpa is done. He goes an inning and 2/3. He gets 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a hit batter. No runs. Oh, sorry, 1 run, rather. And he gives up 2 hits. So it's now an 8-4 ball game, and Zerpa will leave the ball game, and the Royals will need a new pitcher in the 7th inning. Tyson Miller coming back out for the Cubbies. And he'll be facing the top of the order, Garcia, Massey, and Witt. That's a 2-10 for Garcia, and that's a ground ball to second, 1 away. 1 down for Michael Massey. 5-4. Catcher X, we're looking at Amaya. He's a 2E6. 2-14 for a catcher. 2-14. 2-14 is a foul out. That's a 16. Make sure there's no error. He's an E6. E6 and a 16. There's a 14 and 18, but no 16. So it will be a foul out as Massey fouls out to Amaya for out number 2. And that'll bring up Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. 111, and that is a ballpark blast, which is a 1-7, and that's a 6. Bobby Witt with his 2nd home run of the game, 3rd of the season. Look at it again. 111 is a ballpark blast. It's a 1-7, and that's a 6. So a home run for Bobby Witt. It is now a 9-4 ball game. Witt gets his 2nd home run of the game. And now here comes Vinny Pasquantino. Pasquantino, I guess it's pronounced. I keep wanting to put an A on the end of it. 5-7 and that's trouble. That's a 1-9 double, and that will be a double for Pasquantino. He's got 2 doubles in a row. And now here's Salvador Perez. .412, and that's a ballpark blast for Miller. For Perez, actually. So 1-7, and that's a 6. Perez is going to go deep. Look at it again. Ballpark blast, .412. 1-7, double dies a 6. So Salvador Perez goes deep. A 2-run shot, and it's 11-4. Kansas City with the hitting shoes on, tearing up the Cubs pitching, that's for sure. Second home run of the replay for Salvador Perez. They now lead it 11-4. And here's Hunter Renfroe. Whoa, got hop and dice. Let's redo that again. Get a 3-12 for Renfroe. He's going to ground it to third, and that's going to end the inning. But a 3 spot coming on for Kansas City. And that's it for Tyson Miller. He's done. So Miller will go 2 innings. And he's going to give up 3 runs and 3 hits. No walks and no strikeouts. So we go to the 7th. We will need a new pitcher for both teams, actually, as it turns out. So we'll see who is the most rested Royal pitcher to come out of the bullpen. And it's going to be Chris Stratton. Chris Stratton will come on. On the replay, Chris Stratton was 4-3. I'm sorry, on the season, he was 4-3 with a 5.55 ERA and 4 saves. On the replay, he is 0-0 at 10.13 earned run average, 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. But they've got a 9-4 leads, or I'm sorry, an 11-4 lead. So I guess they figured it's safe to bring Stratton on and see what he can do. See if he can right the ship a little bit. He'll be facing Suzuki, Tauchman, and Swanson. 3-7 for Suzuki, and that's a walk. Not what you want to do when you're ahead 11-4. Start walking guys. Suzuki will be held, but won't go anywhere. And here's Tauchman. It's a 1-3, and that's a foul out to first base. It'll be 1 away. As Pasquantino put it away. Here's Dansby Swanson, shortstop. 5-8, and that is a ground ball second base X. Now, they were holding Suzuki on, so the second baseman, Massey, will lose one of his range numbers. He will now be a 4E6 because they were holding the runner on. 4E6, but a 4 and 19 is not going to matter. That's the same as a 3 and 19. 4 and 19, 3 and 19 are both G1, so it doesn't matter. It's possible double play. But that's a 16, and Massey's an E6. There's a 16 right there, so instead of a double play, we got a 1-base error on Michael Massey. So bad luck for him. It's an E4. Should have been a double play. Should have ended the inning. But instead, we have an E4. And now each team has committed a 1 error. And that'll bring up Christopher Morel. First and second, 1 out. 3-3 from Morel, and that is a hit by pitch. So he gets plunked. Second Cub batter to be plunked. It's going to load the bases. No, it wasn't intentional. You don't want to start giving up base runners here. Here's Amaya, the catcher, against Stratton. Infield playing for the double play. 6-7. It's not going to matter. Off Stratton, 6-7, a 1-14 is a double. That's a double 2 stars. 2 runs will come on. It's now 11-6. Just when you think the Cubs are over, they come back. 2-run double. Now 11-6, and that's going to bring up Madrigal. 221 hitter. They may want to go to the bench here and pull a better hitter out. We are in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting is allowed. So they will go to they're going to bring on Nico Horner, trying to get him a day off, but he's going to come on and pinch hit late here and stay in the game to play second base. And Horner at second base is a 1E10. So he will be a 1E10, Will Horner. So Horner will pinch hit here in the 7th. Stay in the game, play second base in the 7th. So Nico Horner, let's see what he's been struggling on the replay, which is why we gave him a day off. But he's kind of in need right now, so they're going to bring him on. Nico Horner. On the replay, Horner is hitting .059 in 34 at bats, so he really could use a good hit right here. Second and third, 1 out. Infield is still back. They still lead by 5. That's a 1. Stratton's wild pitch is a 3. And Stratton throws the wild pitch. It's going to bring home another run. 3 runs are in the inning. And going to third is Amaya. It's now 11-7. Stratton to Horner. 4-12. That's a walk. And that might be it for Stratton. I'm not sure they can go much further with him. He has just been struggling. He hasn't done anything, actually. So let's see. He goes 1/3 of an inning. He's going to hit a batter and walk a batter. He actually walks 2 batters, and he hits a batter. Now, in all fairness, he should have been out of the inning. That should have been a double play. But you still got to overcome that if you're a pitcher. 1 hit and no strikeouts. So far, he's allowed 3 runs. And 2 of those are earned because you can't assume a double play. The only one unearned is the E4 right here. So that's going to be it for Stratton. Royals will go to their bullpen for somebody else. And that somebody else is going to be Will Smith, trying to get jiggy with it. Will Smith 0-4, 6.53 ERA and a save on the real season. Let's see what he's done on the replay. He has a +4 hole, which makes him a +2. Usually left-handers have better hold ratings than that. But Will Smith is not rated to have a good hold rating. So we'll see what happens. Will Smith on the replay is 0-0 with no saves and a 13.50 earned run average. He's only tossed 1 inning so far. And no hits, no walks, and a strikeout. But he's given up some stuff. So it'll be Ian Happ, switch hitter to face him. Make Ian Happ turn around bat right-handed. Bases are still, runner is at first and third with 1 out. Horner will not be held. And here's the pitch to Happ. 2-7 to Happ, and he's going to fly ball center field B, possible sacrifice fly. Amaya, though, only runs at a 9. And Isbell's a -1 arm. So you're talking a 1-8. And so they're going to have to hold him here. They don't want to take that chance. They're going to have to hold him. And hope that PCA comes through for a base hit in the clutch. So Happ is out, and that's up to PCA in the clutch. And in the clutch, he will gain a hit on 2-8. It's a 1-8, though, and he strikes out to end the inning. So nice job there by Will Smith as he got the job done. Limits it to 3 runs, keeps it an 11-7 ball game as we go to the 7th inning stretch. And the Cubs will need a new pitcher as well. So we'll see who the Cubs want to bring in out of their bullpen. And, of course, Nico Horner on the computer will stay in the game to play second base. So let's go to the bullpen for the Cubbies And they're going to go to where are you here? Where did he go? I just had him. Now I'm going crazy because I can't find the guy I just had. Where are you? I didn't put him back in the minor leagues by accident. Let me double check. Not there. It is going to be this guy, right-hander Hayden Wesneski, or Wesniewski, whatever you want to call him. Wesneski, I guess is how you pronounce it. And Wesneski, a right-hander, coming on to eat some innings. This will be his debut of the season. He was a starter/reliever. He did have 7 starts, 3-6, 3.86 ERA and 7 starts. He has a start rating of 4, relief rating of 3. So they can use him to. They definitely need him to pitch the rest of this game at a bare minimum to give the rest of their bullpen some time off. He's a -2 and he's a +1 for a -1. So Wesniewski making his season debut for the Cubbies. And he'll be facing MJ Melendez, Velasquez, and Isbell here in the bottom of the 7th of now an 11-7 ball game. Kind of wild one. 6-7, and against a left-hander, that's 4-7. 6-7 is a pop up to second base. And let me check Wesniewski's injury chances. I don't think 6-7 is going to matter. He's a 5, so let's see. Let me pull this up here. On the score, I think it's a 6-8 though. So Wesniewski is a 5, which I think relates to a 6-8. If I do my math correctly, but I will double check it. Pitcher injury, a 5 is a 6-8. So that's a 6-7, so he's okay. But 6-8 is his injury roll. And the Cubs can't afford another injury. But in this case, it's 6-7, and he gets the pop out. We're 1 away. And that'll bring up Nelson Velasquez. That's a 5-8, and that is a walk to Velasquez. That'll send up Kyle Isbell. Velasquez will not be held. Isbell. 2-2 for Isbell. That's a low max to first base, and that's going to end the inning. He lines it right to Bellinger, and Bellinger will step on the bag, 3 unassisted for the double play. A line-out double play. Velasquez, a dead duck, had no chance to get back on that hard liner. And that will end the inning. So Wisniewski pitches a solid 7th inning, so he's definitely well in line to pitch the 8th as well. Will Smith going to come out and pitch the top of the 8th for the Royals against Cody Bellinger. 11-7 ball game. Bellinger, your batter, 1-9, and he's going to ground it right back to Will Smith. Or 1 away. And that will send up Suzuki. He has walked twice. 5-11, and that's a ground ball. Pitcher X. Will Smith is a 2E51. Now, there's a number you don't see often. E51. Sound like something in a bingo game. E51, I got a bingo. But he's 2 for the range. 2 and a 16 is good, but the E51 is definitely questionable. That's an 11. E51, there's an 11 right there. But if you're E51, it's the worst you can get. And basically, you make an error unless the D6s are 17, 18, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everything else, 7 through 16, it's an error. So it will be an error on Will Smith, E1. So So he did not get jiggy with it. He made the error. And that brings up Talkman, but Talkman may be pinch hit for. We already went through this once already, and we let him slide. But I think with the right-hander, or the left-hander on the mound, they're going to use Garrett Cooper as the DH. They're going to pinch hit with Cooper, a righty. So he will pinch hit in the 8th inning, Garrett Cooper. Not to be confused with Gary Cooper, but Garrett Cooper. So go to the bench for the Cubbies and bring in Mr. Cooper. That leaves Wisdom and Gomes, the two remaining bench players for the Cubbies. Let's see, he's 0 for 5 on the season as Garrett Cooper. He's had 5 at-bats. He's 0 for 5, and he struck out twice. Let's see what he can do here against Will Smith. 2-10, and he's going to hit a fly ball to right field. Or out number 2. If it had been a clutch situation, he would have gotten a hit, but we're not in that situation, so he will not get the hit. And here comes Dansby Swanson. Will Smith to Swanson. 4-6, and that's a ground ball, second base X. We're looking at Massey, a 3E6. 3E6, that's a 4. 3 and a 4 for Massey. 3 and a 4 is a single 1 star. And that's a 16, or 14 rather. And he is a E6. 14 and E6. There's no 14 there, but it is going to be a single. It's going to keep the inning going. And bring up Christopher Morel. Morel in the clutch against lefties is completely neutral. But he's got a loaded column 2 for home runs. He found 6-5 and 6-5. Look at this. Will Smith, 6-5 is an in home run chance. And Morel has normal power against lefties, so that is gone. A 3-run home run for Christopher Morel. All 3 of these runs are unearned due to the error by Will Smith. But it is now an 11-10 ball game. Christopher Morel, his 3rd home run of the season. And this wild one has gone to 11-10. Not only can anybody field, we ask if anybody can field, we ask if anybody can pitch. Apparently not. Here's Miguel Amaya. 6-11. 6-11 for Will Smith is a ballpark single. That's a 1, so Mamaya gets the base hit. And now the tying run is on base. And here's Nico Horner is due up, and Will Smith is going to check out. That's going to be all for Will Smith. Smith is going to go 1 1/3 innings. He's going to strike out 1. Not walk anybody. Gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, but all are unearned. So we put a 0 in the earned runs, 3 in the runs, but the earned runs cannot go up because no matter what happens now, they're not going to go up. So now the Royals will need a new pitcher, and they will turn to Nick Anderson out of the bullpen, right-hander. They do have James MacArthur in their back pocket, the Bookham Dano guy, but they usually like to bring him in for a save in the 9th inning, not bring him in early. But Nick Anderson's going to have to hold the fort so they can get to MacArthur. Anderson on the replay has no 1-loss record, no saves, ERA of 0. Went 4 innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Real season, he was 3-1, 4.04 ERA and a save. And he'll be facing with 2 outs in the top of the 8th and 3 runs in, Nico Horner. The tying run is on first base in Amaya. Anderson to Nico Horner. It's a 3-5 for Horner, and that's a ground ball back to Anderson. That's going to end the inning. So Anderson gets out of it. But it is now an 11-10 ball game. as we go to the bottom of the 8th, and Hayden Wisniewski back out, or Wisniewski, whatever, how you pronounce it, he's back out to pitch. Try to keep the score where it is. He'll be facing top of the order Garcia. .110, and that's going to be a 1-7 triple, 8-20 is a single. So it's a leadoff single for Garcia. And the Royals now might be looking for some insurance. That is now 29 combined hits in this game. 22 runs and 29 hits combined in this game. Wisniewski's a -2, makes him a -1. But Garcia is going to try to get the lead. Needs a 2, 3, 4, 5. And he gets the lead. He's going to go 19, being held as 17, -1's a 16. 1-16, he steals it. And he's in there. Stolen base for Garcia. So Garcia with the steal. And for Garcia, that is his second stolen base of the season. He had 23 real world. He's had two steals and been caught once so far. Brings up Michael Massey with nobody out. And Garcia at second base. It's 1-7, and that's a ground ball to first. And that will get Garcia over to third base with one out. Now the infield's going to have to come in. Infield is in for Bobby Witt, unless you want to walk Bobby Witt, which is a possibility. But pick your poison. Bobby Witt's hit 2 home runs. Pasquantino's hit 2 doubles. They're gonna intentionally walk Bobby Witt and set up a double play. They just don't want Bobby Witt to beat him again. They really don't. So a little bit unconventional managing. They're going to intentionally walk him, set up a double play. Now Witt has a chance to steal though, so he may thwart their philosophy if he steals the base. He needs a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. And he does, so he's going to go 17 -2 is a 15, -1's a 14, 1-14, and he's in there. Stolen base, that's a 3, so possible throwing error. He's a T3, but no throwing error, but it will be a stolen base for Witt, and that's going to put runners at second and third with only one out, and the infield will have to come in unless they want to walk Pasquantino and pitch to, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to intentionally walk Pasquantino. That's going to load the bases for Salvi Perez, but Perez is a double play candidate, and that's what they're shooting for, is a double play. 2-7, and Perez thwarts that with a single 2 stars. So Wisniewski's running into some problems. It's a single 2 stars. 2 runs are in. Going to third is Perez. I'm sorry, going to third is Pasquantino. 2-run single for Salvi Perez. And it's now a 13-10 ball game for Hunter Renfroe. Runners are at the corners again. Again, they're looking for the double play to get him out of the inning. It's a 6-6 for Wisniewski, and that's a 1-2 home run. It's a 13, but it's a fly ball left field B, which is good enough for a sacrifice fly. And that'll bring home Perez with the third run of the inning. So both guys that got to intentionally walk scored, so that strategy certainly backfired on the Cubbies. It is now 14-10 with 2 outs and a runner at first for Melendez. That's why the Cubbies are 3-6, get soon to be 3-7, I guess. 3-5 for Melendez, and that's a ballpark blast for Melendez. It is a 1-4, and that's a 5, so they get a break there. Just a deep fly to right to end the inning. But 3 runs come in to counter the 3 runs that the Cubs put up. And now we go to the 9th. And Anderson's going to stay in there to earn the save, because we brought in MacArthur now. It would not be a save situation. But Anderson certainly can qualify for the save. Top of the 9th. Last chance for the Cubbies. They trail it by the score of 14-10. And Ian Happ, top of the order, will lead things off. Yes, Kona Crush. I remember him. All right, here is. I remember he was in WrestleMania 9 against Doink the Clown. He got beat by Doink the Clown because Doink the Clown had batteries in his fake arm. That was the year they did the theme of like Caesar, Julius Caesar. Everybody was in, tunics or whatever they call those things. 5-7, and it's a 1-6 single. That's a 7, so he will ground to first base. And there's one away. Togas, you got it. Thank you. So I'm showing you my childhood experiences or my growing up experiences. Get Smart, the Three Stooges, and WWE wrestling. This is not exactly Downton Abbey that we're talking about here. And here's PCA, so I don't claim to be sophisticated. I don't play one on TV or on YouTube. 4-5 is a strikeout. 2 down. Last chance of Ra. Yes, exactly. Roddy Piper changing the questions. Just when you think you get all the answers, he changes the questions. That's a 110, and that's going to be a ballpark single check, 1-16, and that'll keep this game going a little bit further. Just what we needed, another hit. And that'll bring up Seiya Suzuki. 5-5, and that's a strikeout to finally end this one and put the Cubs out of their misery, I guess you could say. Final score from Kauffman Stadium. It is the Kansas City Royals defeating the Chicago Cubs by the score of 14-10. Final line score, 14 runs, 16 hits, and 2 errors for Kansas City. 10 runs, 15 hits, and 1 error for the Cubs. Losing pitcher is Jameson Taillon. He drops to 0-2. The computer is giving the win to they're giving the win to Anderson, not the save. That's really strange. I guess it's scorer's prerogative based on who pitches the best, and Anderson was the most effective. So he goes an inning and a third and gets up a hit, nothing else, with 2 strikeouts. So the Strat computer has given the win to Anderson. So he's 1-0. And they actually gave Will Smith a hold, believe it or not. Don't know how that happened, as bad as he pitched. So anyway, I don't know if you guys agree with the win going to Anderson or not. Again, Singer didn't pitch enough innings. He didn't go the 5 innings to. And I think the way modern baseball is now, this rule needs to be changed to 4 innings. I think a starter needs to go 4 innings to qualify for a win, not 5, because you're never going to have any more 20-game winners if you make them go 5 innings because they don't get a chance half the time. So anyway, that's that. Boy, if you look at the box score, Salvador Perez was 4 for 5 with 6 runs batted in. So Salvi Perez is your player of the game. 4 for 5 with 6 runs batted in. That is definitely the player of the game. In a losing cause, Morel was 3 for 4 with 4 runs batted in. Morel. But despite the fact that Bobby Witt hit 2 home runs, I'm giving the player of the game to Salvi Perez for his 4 for 5 performance with 6 runs batted in. So Salvi Perez gets the player of the game. And the Royals improved to 7-3. They tied the Dodgers in second place, 1 game behind the Twins. And the poor Cubs dropped to 3-7. And the only thing keeping them out of last place are the Miami Marlins. So if we look at the league standings, after 10, every team now has played 10 games. We've had 50 games. So Minnesota 8-2. Kansas City is 7-3. In fact, let me try something here that I did. I did this morning, and it's kind of sort of worked. So I'm hoping we can get it to work again. Possibly, maybe, possibly, hopefully. All right, I took a screenshot on my phone here. Let's bring it up on the laptop so I can see what you guys are seeing. So there's my screenshot of the standing sheet in Strat-O-Matic. I don't know if I can get this a little bit. If I get it too much, then you won't be able to see the peripheries. You don't need the 2020 something part. You just need this. So we see Minnesota is 8-2. Kansas City and the Dodgers are 7-3. Oakland is 6-4. Pittsburgh, San Diego are 5-5. Yankees are 4-6. Toronto and Chicago 3-7, and the Marlins are 2-8. 2-8. So that's where we stand in the Demolition League after 50 games. So we go on now to the next scheduled day, which is a repeat of this because that was the first game of a 3-game series for all these teams. So they've got 2 more games against each of these opponents. So as we move on to the next schedule block, or schedule the next day, I should say. Technically, it's April 11th on my calendar, but really that doesn't really make much difference. We are looking at let's see who the first game's going to be. It's going to be the Padres at the Yankees. Padres at Yankees. That will be the next game. It'll be game 51. Put it on the back of this score sheet. So back of the score sheet it'll go, and it's going to be the Padres at the Yankees, Yankee Stadium. San Diego at New York. And that'll be game number 51 at Yankee Stadium. Don't have a clue who the pitchers are going to be or any of that kind of stuff. We're just doing the bare minimum preliminaries to set it up for the next game, which should be Monday night. Or I might do it tomorrow night if I feel, well, I'm not going to do it tomorrow night. College football tomorrow, so I'm not going to do that. And Sundays I typically take off and rest and rejuvenate and get myself back in the mood for Strat and other games. So we're going to go up San Diego and New York. So we look at the standings again and put in the one-loss records. San Diego is 5-5. The Yankees are 4-6. But again, the Twins lead the standings at 8-2. So that's what it's going to be. Don't know who the starting pitchers or the lineup's going to be. We got to do the rest rolls and see what comes up and on all of that sort of thing. Cubs will need the Cubs are going to add a new pitcher because of the fact that Drew Smyly is out for 10 games due to injury. So they have brought on, and in the future they will have, at least for a little while, a guy named Porter Hodge. I've never heard of Porter Hodge, but he pitched 43 innings. He was 3-1 with a 1.88 ERA and 9 saves. So he did pretty well for himself, I would say. And the Cubs need all the help they can get right now. So they're bringing in the best guy they have off the minor leagues. And he'll be coming on to see if we can give him a boost in the future. But that's going to do it here from the Demolition League. This was the third game of the day for me as I played the doubleheader this morning. So definitely looking to rest a little bit. But, of course, tomorrow at noon we'll be doing the 1987 National League game of the day from May the 30th, the Giants and the Expos from San Francisco. So if you have the opportunity to chime in, you're welcome to do so and join us for that. Sure, I've got everything here for the Cubbies. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that's going to do it from here, folks. Hope you all have a great weekend, whatever you have planned. And I'm sure if you're a college football fan, you have a big day scheduled for tomorrow. Um, and if you're not, you obviously have, college basketball started up too. So who would have thunk that? We're just catching up on us, getting all these. The calendar is just moving along fast as it'll go, I think. And before you know it, we get into basketball season. Just how it turns out sometimes. All right, so that's going to do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And until tomorrow, where we have the Giants and the Expos, 1987, we will see you all down the road.